Listen to me. You didn't come this far to stop. You did grind through pain, through heartbreak, through those sleepless nights just to settle. You didn't survive all that loss, all that doubt, all those no, just to break down now. Winners, real winners, we don't take breaks. We break limits. You want success, then stop acting like it's optional. Stop walking like it's coming for free. Winning is rented, and the rent is due every single day. Rain, snow, heartbreak, failure. It's due, and if you don't pay up, it will take everything from you. Winning is more than a trophy, a title, or applause. It's a mindset. It's not about that one moment you stood on top. It's about the mentality you carry every single day, whether you're on the rise or in the trenches. See, a lot of people chase the event of winning. They chase that big break, that viral post, that championship ring, thinking that's it. That once they touch the top, the job's done. But winning isn't about touching the top. It's about staying there. And staying there, that's a whole different level of discipline. People who just chase moments will always fall off. You ever seen someone win once and never again? That's because they treated winning like a destination, not a lifestyle. But the real ones, the champions, the legends, they live in the mindset of winning. They wake up thinking, how can I be better than I was yesterday? They go to sleep asking, did I give everything today? It's internal, it's personal, it's not about impressing others, it's about holding yourself to a higher standard when nobody's watching. The mindset of winning doesn't wait for motivation. It doesn't wait for perfect circumstances. It shows up on cold mornings. It works through heartbreak. It keeps moving when things fall apart. It's not fueled by comfort. It's fueled by conviction. It says, no matter what comes my way, I will ride. I will adapt. I will overcome. Winning is a decision you make long before the world sees your results. It's built in the dark, built in silence, built when no one's clapping. When you think like a winner, you're not just trying to beat others, you're trying to beat the old you. It's not about comparison, it's about elevation. You don't get caught up in who's ahead or who's behind. You stay focused on your race because winners know the real battle is internal. It's not the competition across from you. It's the voice inside that says, oh, slow down, settle, you've done enough. Winners shut that voice down every time. People with the winner's mindset operate different. They don't fear failure. They expect it, and they grow from it. Every L is a lesson. Every setback, a setup. They're not asking, why me? They're asking, what's this teaching me? That's the shit. That's what separates people who rise once from people who keep rising. Their mindset isn't fragile. It's forged in pressure. When life turns up the heat, they don't melt. They sharpen. And the thing is, this mindset doesn't start when you get the opportunity. It starts before the spotlight, before the promotion, before the big shot. See, people think they'll rise to the occasion, but you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your preparation. And if your mind's not trained, if you haven't been conditioning your focus, your discipline, your endurance, when the moment comes, it'll crush you. But if you've got that mindset of winning, if you've been grinding when no one's looking, that moment won't scare you. It'll be just another step in your routine. Winning is mental warfare. It's waking up on the days you don't feel like it and showing up anyway. It's putting reps when your body's tired, your emotions are heavy, and the results aren't visible yet. It's knowing that just because the progress isn't obvious doesn't mean the process isn't working. That's the mindset. Trusting the work when the world gives you silence. You don't get this mindset by accident. It's built through intention, through pain, through experience. You build it every time you say no to distraction. Every time you choose discipline over comfort. Every time you stay hungry, even when you've had small wins. The moment you let up, the moment you start feeling satisfied too soon, that's when you start to slide. But a true winner doesn't let comfort seduce them. They respect success, but they don't let it soften them. You can't fake this mindset. It reveals itself in pressure. It shows in how you react to loss, how you respond to adversity, how you carry yourself when nobody's clapping for you. Anybody can act hungry when they're losing. Anybody can work hard when they're chasing. But can you stay locked in after you've won? You won. Can you stay humble, stay focused, stay relentless? That's where most people break. That's where the elite separate. This mindset isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, discipline, routine. It's not always flashy. It's in the habits, it's in the detail. It's in the early mornings, the late nights, the skip parties, the extra reps, the constant reflection. It's in choosing growth over ego, long-term over shortcuts, character over image. That's where winners are made. And don't think for a second that this is only about sports or business. This mindset applies to every area of life. Relationships, health, purpose. It's about showing up strong, consistent, intentional, no matter what arena you're in. Because when you think like a winner, you don't wait for life to hand you victories, you create them. You don't hope things work out. You make them work. You take full responsibility. No blaming, no excuses, just relentless forward motion. That's the difference. That's the edge. The mindset that says, I'm not just trying to win today, I'm building a lifestyle of winning. One decision, one habit, one day at a time. Success is rented, and the rent is due every single day. That's the truth most people don't want to face. Everybody wants success, but not everybody wants the responsibility that comes with it. Success is not a one-time payment. It's not something you buy and keep. It's something you lease. And that lease comes with terms, daily terms. And you stop paying, you lose it, period. No exceptions, no grace period. You miss a payment and the ground will repossess everything you worked for. This is why discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation is loud. Motivation gets you hyped for a few hours, maybe a day or two. But discipline pays rent when motivation's asleep. Discipline shows up when no one else does. It makes the payment when you're sick, when you're tired, when you're doubting yourself. And without it, your success is on borrowed time. See, people think once they've achieved a little, they've earned the right to coast. You've heard them, I've been working hard. I deserve a break. That's fine if your content was average. But if you're trying to be great, if you're trying to be remembered, if you're trying to own your space, then the rent never stops. It increases. The better you get, the higher the price. Because excellence demands more, always. Look at anyone who stayed on top. Not just reached the top, but stayed there. They didn't do it by working hard once. They didn't do it by having one great performance. They did it by repeating greatness until it became their baseline. They kept paying rent, physically, mentally, emotionally. They understood that the climb isn't the hard part. The hard part is waking up after the climb and going again and again and again. No shortcuts, no days off from growth. Success has no sympathy. It doesn't care how talented you are. It doesn't care how bad your circumstances were. It doesn't care how hard last week was. If you don't show up today, if you don't execute, it will take back what it gave you. There's always someone hungrier, someone training harder, someone preparing in silence while others celebrate too early. Too early. You have to outlast that. You have to be the one who keeps showing up even when the world gives you every excuse to stay in bed. People think they can cheat the process. They want the rewards without the grind. But that's not how it works. The process knows who's putting in the real work. You might fool people. You might even fool yourself, but you can't fool the process. It will expose you. And when it does, you'll realize success was never about that one performance, that one opportunity, that one lucky break. It was about the consistency to keep showing up and putting in the reps when nobody was clapping. And here's what most people miss. The rent isn't just paid in hours or effort. It's paid in focus, in sacrifice, in saying no to things that most people say yes to. It's in the way you structure your day, the way you feed your mind, the way you treat your time like currency. Every decision you make is either an investment or a withdrawal. You're either moving closer to your goals or further away. There is no neutral, there's no pause button. That's why success isn't sexy in real life. It's not the highlight reels or the inspirational posts. It's not the stage or the spotlight. It's the unseen hours. It's the early mornings when no one's watching. It's the sacrifices that don't make sense to anyone else. It's pushing through days when nothing is going your way, but you still show up and handle your business because you understand the rent doesn't stop just because your mood shifted. You want to know why people lose momentum after a win. It's because they think the rent got cheaper. They think success gives them a discount. It doesn't. In fact, after a win, the rent goes up. Now you got expectations. Now you got standards to uphold. Now people are watching. And if you're not mentally ready to keep paying that new price, you'll start slipping. You'll start taking shortcuts out. You'll start cutting corner, and success, it notices. It always notices. But when you commit to paying the rent no matter what, you move different. You stop waiting for inspiration. You stop complaining. You stop negotiating with your goals. You stop looking for balance and start chasing alignment. You don't work based on how you feel. You work based on what you decided. That's power. That's how winners are built. They don't need permission. They don't need ideal conditions. They just get up and do the work. Again and again, you have to make peace with the grind. Make peace with the monotony. Make peace with the repetition. Because repetition is what builds the muscle, the skill, the mindset. Everybody wants results, but not everybody wants to repeat the work it takes to earn them. You want to get better? Repetition. You want to be elite? Repetition. You want to become undeniable? You already know. Repetition. There will be days you want to quit. Days the results don't match the effort. Days you question whether it's all worth it. But that's when the rent is most due. That's when success looks at you and says, oh, let's see if you're serious. And your response in those moments, that's what defines you. That's what separates the ones who visit success from the ones who own it. No one's coming to remind you. No one's going to chase you down and beg you to fulfill your potential. It's on you, all of it. Your mindset, your grind, your attitude, your growth. Either you pay the rent or you watch someone else live in a house you were supposed to build. There's a big difference between being interested and being committed. A lot of people talk like they want it. They post about it. They read about it. They surround themselves with the energy of it. But when it comes down to doing the hard stuff, the real work, the uncomfortable grind, they disappear. That's the gap between interest and commitment. Interest is temporary. Commitment is permanent. Interest fades when it gets tough. Commitment ignites when it gets tough. So, yeah, that's the shift most people never make. Being interested means you'll give it effort as long as it's convenient. You'll work hard when the sun's out, when things are going your way, when people are watching. But the second it gets difficult, when the work gets lonely, when the results slow down, when nobody's applauding, you start slipping. You start making excuses. You start saying things like, oh, maybe it's not for me, or maybe I'm not ready. That's not commitment. That's comfort in disguise. Committed people operate on a different frequency. They don't need permission. They don't need applause. They don't need instant results. Instant results. They just need the mission. They wake up every day and pursue that mission like their life depends on it. Because in their mind, it does. They burned the backup plan. They've cut off the exit. They're not trying this out. They're all the way in. Commitment means you show up on the days you don't feel like it. It means you keep going when motivation is gone, when energy is low, when the world's telling you to quit. It means discipline becomes your default. You stop negotiating with yourself. You don't ask, do I feel like doing this today? You say, I decided, so I'm doing it. That's the mentality that creates breakthroughs. There's a reason why committed people seem unshakable. It's because they've already made the decision. They don't decide every day whether they're going to put in the work. They decided once, and now they live it. That decision becomes the foundation of everything they do. When obstacles show up, they don't flinch. When pressure hits, they lean in. When others fold, they double down. Because their commitment isn't based on emotions. It's based on purpose. You can't halfway your way into greatness. You can't count on want it. You can't pursue it only when it's easy. Commitment requires total alignment, mind, body, spirit. It requires sacrifice. It requires saying no to a lot of things people say yes to. Comfort, distraction, shortcuts. You start losing people, losing old habits, losing convenience. But what you gain? You gain focus. You gain clarity. You gain momentum. People will call you obsessed. Let them, because obsession is what commitment looks like when the world doesn't understand your purpose. The truth is, the people who make the biggest impact, the ones who change the game, change their lives, change their families, they're not balanced. They're obsessed with growth, obsessed with execution, obsessed with fulfilling what they were born to do. And that obsession, it doesn't burn out. It burns brighter every time someone doubts them, every time they face resistance, every time life throws another test their way. You have to ask yourself, am I truly committed, or am I just entertained by the idea of success? Because the idea is easy to fall in love with. Everybody wants to dream. Everybody wants to glow up. But commitment, that's where most people drop off. Because commitment is lonely, it's grueling. It requires late nights, early mornings, sacrifices that make no sense to others. You'll miss events. You'll skip comfort. You'll walk alone. But the ones who walk alone long enough, they eventually walk in rooms no one else can enter. When you're committed, failure doesn't scare you anymore. You stop fearing rejection. You stop letting setbacks define you. You start seeing every no as part of the path, every loss as a lesson, every delay as preparation. Because when you're committed, you don't need everything to go right. You just need to keep going. The storm doesn't break you. The silence doesn't stop you. The pressure doesn't shake you. You become relentless. It's not that committed people don't struggle. They do. They feel the pain. They feel the doubt. But they keep going. They may bend, but they don't break. They may stumble, but they get back up. That's the difference. That's what separates the ones who dream from the ones who deliver. Committed don't need perfect conditions. Don't need perfect. They create their own conditions. They build momentum in the mud, in the rain, in the dark. They show up when it's hard. And that's why they rise. If you're committed, you don't wait for life to hand you opportunity. You create them. You stop playing defense and start playing offense. You stop reacting and start building. You stop hoping and start executing. You put your head down, you put your heart in, and you work. Not for likes, not for praise, not for praise, not for validation. You work because it's who you are now. That's the power of commitment. It becomes your identity. It shifts standard. It changes what you tolerate. You no longer settle for average. You don't chase comfort. You don't shrink to fit in. You rise to stand out. You level up every day. Not because someone's watching, but because you refuse to stay the same. You've decided and there's no going back. Getting comfortable being uncomfortable is one of the greatest skills you'll ever develop. Most people don't grow because the second discomfort shows up, they retreat. They back off. They start making excuses. They say things like, this doesn't feel right. Or maybe I need to wait until I'm ready. But growth doesn't live in comfort. Growth lives in struggle and pressure, in moments that stretch you beyond what feels safe or familiar. The place where most people stop. That's where winners begin. That's the space where transformation happens. Discomfort is not the enemy. It's a signal. It's the indicator that you step beyond your limits, and that's exactly where change is born. You can't become more by staying the same. You can't level up by playing it safe. The version of you that breaks through, that reaches new levels, that leads, builds, creates, and dominates. That version is waiting on the other side of discomfort. But here's the problem. We're conditioned to chase ease. We want convenience. We want the path of least resistance. We want quick wins and instant feedback. So the moment things get hard, we start questioning everything. But hard isn't bad. Hard is necessary. Hard is what refines you, sharpens you, humbles you. It tests your character, exposes your weaknesses, and forces you to build real strength, the kind that doesn't fade when circumstances change. The people who achieve the most in life are not the ones who avoid discomfort. They're the ones who lean into it. They train themselves to seek out difficult things. They deliberately put themselves in uncomfortable situations because they understand that's where the edge is. That's where the separation is. That's where you go from average to exceptional. It starts with your mindset. If your mindset is built around comfort, you'll constantly be running from growth. You'll sabotage opportunities because they require too much from you. You'll avoid challenges because they make you feel insecure. You'll stay in circles, relationships, jobs, and environments that keep you small because stepping out would mean facing the unknown. But if your mindset is built around progress, you start embracing what others avoid. You start seeing the hard path not as a threat, but as a tool. You have to train your mind to interpret discomfort as a positive thing. When you feel nervous, anxious, out of your depth, that's a sign you're expanding. When you're exhausted, but you keep pushing. When you're afraid, but you show up anyway. When you're failing, but you don't quit, that's growth in real time. And every time you push through that resistance, you increase your threshold for discomfort. You build resilience. You become mentally tougher. You become dangerous, and the best way, discomfort is also a filter. It separates the talkers from the doers. Everyone has goals, but very few have the grit to endure the pain required to reach them. It's easy to set a goal when you're feeling inspired. It's another thing to keep chasing it when you're tired, when you're losing, when you're doubting yourself. That's where the real ones are forged, in the fire, not the comfort zone. The comfort zone is a trap. It whispers lies. It tells you you're fine where you are, that you've done enough, that playing is safe is smart. But deep down, you know the truth. You know you were made for more. You know playing small is suffocating. You know comfort feels good today, but leaves you empty tomorrow. That quiet voice in your soul, that frustration, that restlessness is not confusion. It's potential, and it's begging you to break free from the cage you built around yourself. You don't rise by chance. You rise by decision, by choosing the path that forces you to grow. That means doing the reps when you're exhausted, speaking up when your voice shakes, showing up when nobody invites you, taking responsibility when it's easier to blame, saying yes to things you're scared of, saying no to things that feel easy but lead nowhere. That's what discomfort looks like. And every time you lean into it, you build a stronger version of yourself. It's in those uncomfortable moments that your identity gets redefined. The old version of you starts to fade, and a new, more capable version starts to emerge. You start to trust yourself more. You start to see what you're really made of. You stop avoiding hard things, and instead, you start hunting them. Because you know discomfort is no longer your enemy. It's your edge. Discomfort teaches you discipline. It teaches you how to move without needing motivation. It teaches you how to lead without a crowd. It teaches you how to be relentless when the results are invisible. It teaches you how to be calm in chaos. And these are the exact traits that separate the elite from the average. The winners aren't the ones with the best resources or the smoothest path. They're the ones who can stay composed in the storm, who can stay focused when everything around them is shaking, who can adapt, endure, and push forward even when nothing makes sense. You don't become that person by accident. You become them by intentionally stepping into the hard over and over again, until the hard becomes normal, until the struggle becomes familiar, until you stop flinching at the things that used to scare you. What once felt impossible starts to feel routine. What once made you nervous now makes you powerful. And that shift, that internal transformation, that's how you become unstoppable. Pressure isn't punishment. Pressure is preparation. Most people misread pressure because they associate it with pain, with stress, with failure. But pressure isn't the enemy. Pressure is the environment where champions are built. It's not there to destroy you. It's there to develop you. Pressure reveals who you are at your core. It strips away your comfort, your excuses, your false confidence, and forces you to show up real, raw, and ready. Pressure is the test before the breakthrough. It's the moment between where you are and where you're destined to go. And it doesn't show up for everyone. Pressure comes to those with purpose. It's the universe asking you, are you serious about this? Are you committed? Or are you just talking? And in that moment, how you respond matters more than what you said. Because anyone can talk confidence, but pressure exposes who can live it. You want to be great? You better get familiar with pressure. You better stop running from it and start walking straight into it. Because pressure isn't going anywhere. The higher you rise, the more you'll feel it. The bigger the stage, the louder the critics. The bigger the goal, the heavier the weight. If you're not built for pressure, you're not built for greatness. Simple as that. But the good news is this: pressure is what builds that toughness. You don't need to be born with it. You can develop it rep by rep by rep, test by test. Think about diamonds. They don't form in ease. They don't form in silence. They're made under intense pressure, buried, deep cut, refined, shaped. That process is brutal, but the result is unbreakable. And it's the same with people. The ones who shine the brightest are the ones who've endured the most. The ones who kept going when the pressure mounted. When everything said stop, they said bring it on. They didn't collapse under the weight. They got stronger because of it. Pressure forces you to grow. It demands more from you. It pushes you beyond what you think you're capable of. It wakes up the parts of you that comfort would let sleep forever. It exposes the areas you've been avoiding. It doesn't care about your feelings. It's not here to soothe your ego. It's here to introduce you to your potential. Because without pressure, there's no urgency. Without pressure, there's no breakthrough. Without pressure, you'll never find out what you're really made of. Pressure also teaches you clarity. It strips away distractions and narrows your focus. When pressure hits, you find out what truly matters. You stop wasting energy on things that don't move you forward. You stop entertaining noise. You start moving with intention, thinking sharper, reacting faster. It sharpens your instincts. It heightens your awareness. Because in pressure moments, there's no time for hesitation, no space for confusion. You either rise or you fold. In that moment, that's where leadership is born. Most people pray for ease. They ask for comfort, rest, for a clear path. But ease never built a warrior. Comfort never built a king. The most powerful people you'll ever meet are the ones who've been through pressure and came out forged. Their confidence isn't built on hype. It's built on surviving storms, handling adversity, making decisions with everything on the line and no safety net underneath them. That's real. That's unshakable. Pressure is also where self-belief becomes non-negotiable. Because when you're under pressure, when things start to close in, when the noise gets loud, when the heat turns up, no one can carry that weight for you. You can have support, you can have coaches, you can have teammates, but in the end, you have to stand in the fire. And the only thing that'll keep you standing is the belief that you were built for it, not hope, not wishful thinking. Belief, rooted, grounded, earned through repetition. Pressure is where excuses die. You can't hide when the spotlight hits. You can't blame when the moment comes. You can't fake it under pressure. It brings everything to the surface. It shows you what's weak. It shows you what needs work. And if you're honest, you'll use that. You'll take that feedback and build. You'll stop defending your flaws and start fixing them because pressure doesn't lie. It tells the truth, whether you're ready for it or not. And this is why pressure is a privilege. It means you're being trusted with something valuable. It means the mission you're on matters. It means you're stepping into spaces most people avoid. It means you're in the arena, not the stands. And once you start embracing pressure, once you stop resisting it and start welcoming it, you become dangerous. Because pressure doesn't break the prepared. It breaks the uncommitted. You want to know if someone's ready? Don't ask how they perform when things are easy. Watch them under pressure. Watch them when things go sideways. Watch them when the deadlines close, when the weight gets heavy, when their back's against the wall. That's when the truth comes out. That's when greatness reveals itself. Because pressure doesn't just expose the weak. It activates the strong. It calls the leader to the front. It demands that you either rise up or step aside. So if you're feeling pressure right now, good. That means you're on the edge of something real. That means you're growing. That means the next level is near. Pressure is a signal that you're moving in the right direction. And the more comfortable you get operating under pressure, the more powerful you become. Because pressure doesn't make people. It reveals who's already been putting in the work in silence. It shows you that you were never being punished. You were being prepared for something greater than comfort, something bigger than ease, something stronger than fear. Winning is not a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It's not something you stumbled into by luck. It's not something that happens once and defines your legacy. It's something you do again and again and again and again. It's how you carry yourself. It's how you think, how you move. Go. It's in the decisions you make when no one's watching. It's in your discipline, your standards, your consistency. Winning becomes part of who you are, not just what you do. The real winners don't celebrate too long. They don't stay in the victory lap. They don't get comfortable in success. They use the win as fuel for the next challenge. They understand that yesterday's success doesn't earn them anything today. The work starts over every morning. They wake up hungry. They wake up with purpose because they know when you start living like a winner, there are no off days. There's no such thing as done. There's just next. Too many people chase the win like it's a finish line. They think once they hit their goal, they can stop. But if you stop, you never understood what winning really means. You weren't committed to the life. You were committed to the moment. That's why some people win once and disappear. That's why some people blow up and fade away, because they never built the habits. They never built the mindset. They just got a taste, but they never became it. Winners keep winning because they don't tie their identity to outcomes. They tie it to the process. They don't say, I'll be great when I hit this goal. They say, I'm great because I show up every day, whether I feel like it or not. They fall in love with the grind, with the repetition, with the unglamorous stuff. They embrace the quiet. They don't need validation. They're not chasing applause. They're chasing progress, chasing mastery. And that's what makes them different. Winning as a lifestyle means you measure yourself differently. You don't ask, did I beat someone else? You ask, did I beat who I was yesterday? You stop competing for trophies and start competing for growth. That's the real it. That internal scoreboard never lies. It keeps you honest. It keeps you sharp. It reminds you that you are not here to do what's easy. You're here to do what's necessary. And here's what most people miss. Living like a winner doesn't start when you're on top. It starts when you're at the bottom. It starts when no one believes in you. When there's no recognition, no spotlight, no applause. It starts in the struggle, in the grind, in the silence. That's where winners are built. They create the lifestyle before they get the results. Because they understand that winning is not about what you have, it's about what you do every single day. Winning doesn't wait for convenience. It doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It shows up for the one who's consistent, the one who stays focused when it's boring, the one who trains when nobody's watching, the one who sharpens their skills in private. That's why when the opportunity comes, they don't panic. They don't freeze. They don't hope they're ready. They know they're ready because they've been living ready. Living like a winner means holding yourself to a higher standard, even when no one else does. It means refusing to cut corners. It means doing the right thing, not the easy thing. It means bringing energy when you're tired, showing up when you're discouraged, delivering excellence when others settle for average. It's a mentality. It's how you walk into a room, how you speak your goals, how you carry your setbacks. Winners don't complain. They adjust. They don't retreat. They recalibrate. They don't stop. They evolve. There's a toughness that comes with that lifestyle, a quiet strength. Because when you commit to winning daily, you realize it's not always about motivation. It's about mindset. You won't feel like it every day. You'll be tired. You'll be tested. You'll have losses, but you show up anyway. You do the work anyway. And in doing that, you build a foundation that no setback can shake. It's not just about how high you climb. It's about how consistent you are on the climb. That's the difference between being lucky and being legendary. Lucky people win once. Legendary people win always because they made winning who they are. They built their routines around it. They built their identity around it. They show up with intent, with discipline, with drive. Not just when it's easy, but especially when it's not. And the truth is, not everyone can handle that. Not everyone wants that kind of pressure, that kind of responsibility. Because when you live like a winner, you can't play small anymore. You can't take shortcuts. You can't pretend. You're either all in or you're not in at all. And that's uncomfortable. That's demanding. But that's also what sets you apart. Winning isn't a lucky break. It's not a moment of inspiration. It's a decision. It's a commitment. It's a standard you hold yourself to, even when the world is sleeping, even when the odds are against you, even when no one's clapping. No one's clapping. When you make that shift, when you stop waiting to win and start living like a winner, everything changes. Because now you're not just chasing greatness. You are greatness. You breathe it. You move with it. You expect it. It becomes normal to you. So now it's on you. You heard the call. You felt that fire light up inside. You know deep down what you're capable of. This is not the time to back off, slow down, or wait for permission. This is the time to rise up and declare you will never stop winning, not because it's easy, not because it always feels good, but because that's who you've chosen to become. The world doesn't owe you victory. You owe it to yourself to earn it every single day. So stand tall, get focused, stay hungry, and keep winning again and again and again and again